That happened. Huh? You found a way to like it, and that's great. And like most parents, I worry about him in football. I'm like, oh, is he going to get hurt or get concussions and stuff? I don't want to see any of that happen. Definitely don't want to see that happen. But I don't want to be one of those parents that's like, no, don't ever do anything because you might get hurt. It's like, well, you're going to get hurt anyway, man. So you might as well get in it and do something. Tackle people without getting in trouble. Get some of that energy out. That kind of thing. So, we'll see what happens. It's a year away, so I told him to start, lifting weights and stuff in school. Lifting weights at home, just our little silly little barbells we got. But I was like, start doing that stuff, man. Because it's going to make a difference. And we'll see. He's a gamer type of kid, so we'll see what he does. His buddy's doing it, and I think that'll have a lot to do with it. And, and we'll see what happens. He would be, probably like defensive line, defensive tackle, something like that. He's a bigger kid, so he'd be in some spot where he's smashing people. Some smashing people spot, So it's good. We shall see. It's kind of funny when high school's like that, That was like an open secret in my school. It was like if you were in the high school football team and you got in trouble, like you didn't get in trouble, basically, is what I'm saying. I got in trouble all the damn time for stuff that they did on a regular basis. And then after I didn't get into football, it's weird, like, I decided to start playing, and I went to take my physical, and they did an x-ray on my legs, and found that I had 2 benign tumors in my left femur, my lower, like, it was below the knee and above the ankle. I had these benign tumors, I guess. And, they're like, oh, no, you can't play football because if you get tackled, that weak point in between those things, it could snap your leg. Well, the coach didn't like hearing that. And even though the doctor told him to his face, like, no, he can't play. And, like, after that, the coach was also the disciplinary dean of the school. So we had, like, a battle after that for the whole year. Of just battling each other, doing all sorts of dumb shit. I told my kid, I said, I think I still hold the suspension record at Houghton High School. And 25 years later. And it's not because I was just a menace, it's because I was getting suspended for every stupid thing. I watched 2 kids get in a fight and I got suspended for it. It's like, okay. Crazy stuff. And then, So, yeah, just his personality, he should probably join just to stay out of trouble. So, what should we have here? We got the glass busting out everywhere. I want to draw like a creature or something, but I don't know what I'm going to draw on this glass yet. Let's see what we draw on the glass. Yeah, it's funny. I was putting new wipers on my old Jeep the other day, and I sat there thinking to myself, well, this car is going to be 20 years old in like a year and a half. 2007 or 8 Jeep Cherokee. And then because phones read our minds and hear what we say, I come inside and I put on YouTube, and it's all these channels about you should keep your older car. It's it's a good idea in today's world. And then it was talking about how new cars are playing ads in your car because all the new cars have all the freaking technology, and they're playing ads in your car on your little thing there. And it's like, well, if I can't be on my phone because it's a distraction in my car, how is it not a distraction to have a freaking ad, a Pizza Hut ad going on in my car or something the whole fucking time, you know? I couldn't believe it. And then it made me think, like, all those channels I was watching were like, keep your old car, blah, blah, blah. And people were talking about how, the new cars are nothing but sensors and this and that. And they are. They're nothing but all that crap. It's true. And then, the price. Some of these cars, they want $100,000. $100,000. I'm from an age where I remember when 100 grand was like, here's your house, in California for that. It's just like, fuck, what happened? Don't tell me inflation didn't take a shit during COVID and afterwards when $100,000 is what a car costs these days. And then the worst part is that the sucker driving the $100,000 car around sees me in my 20-year-old Jeep and thinks I'm a bum. And it's like, bro, I own my Jeep. I can get sick. I can quit my job. I can do whatever I want. And I still got wheels. And, and then heavens forbid when it does break, it doesn't cost a freaking arm and a leg or my first kid or whatever. It's just unreal. I just couldn't believe it. Some of these, like a new Jeep chair. If I wanted to go out and get a new Jeep Cherokee right now, it's like 70 grand or something stupid. $70,000. It's just unreal. If somebody gave me 70 grand right now, I would just, I'd go out and find another Jeep like mine for, 5-8 grand. And then I just have 60 grand left in my pocket. Holy smokes. I just, who's making up these prices these days? I don't get it. I do not get it. This is unreal. Yep, so we got this going on. We're almost done with this little section here. We'll have to crispen up that line there and the outer line there. And then we're going to take a little break. Take a little break. Yep. Seems like a lot of churches are burning down in Europe too. That's one reason I'm drawing this. Is well, earlier I was watching a thing and it was talking about all the churches that have burnt down in Europe in the last 15 years or something. And it's like a sick amount. Beautiful, beautiful buildings. I'm not an overly religious person. More of a spiritual person, I feel like, but it seems like the last several years, events have gotten me closer to something. With everything going on, I think it's easy to look to God. Just all the madness in the world. And wonder, where do I fit in on all this madness? And where does my kid fit in on all this madness? That's the biggest thing. It's like, what's he gonna do? I'm an old fart already, like, it doesn't matter for me. But what kind of, what's the world he's gonna grow up in? I kind of think like that with teaching these days. I kind of feel like, well, the world these kids are going into is so much different. And I know every generation says that about kids, like, oh, the world's so much. But it really is this time. With AI and robotics and all that going on, it really is different. But they're teaching them the same old crap at school, So, I don't know. I feel like traditional schooling has to better do something. Traditional schooling better do something, man, because it's, I'd say it's already obsolete. You know, everybody was pissed when Trump took out the Board of Education, but it's like, look around. Other people have been talking about getting rid of the Board of Education too, so it's not like it's just a Trump thing, but, you know, the Board of Education is, you know, there are schools in this country where kids have, you know, they graduate somehow with a freaking third grade reading. You know, it's like, what's the Board of Education doing? Not to mention the fact that the unions are involved, and whenever they get involved in anything, it's a shit show. So you get the unions involved in these teachers' wages, but they can't get these teachers a decent enough wage. And that just goes back to my whole unions suck these days. And that may sound lame, like, what do you mean unions suck? Well, they kind of do. When you think about it, you know, they're trying to make anything a union job these days. Look at those poor bastards at Starbucks. You know, the unions hop in there and tell them, oh, you should be making more money. And it's like, well, everybody should be making more money. But, you know, in this society, when you go get a job at Starbucks or McDonald's, it comes with certain expectations. The expectation of, like, I don't think this Starbucks job is gonna pay, you know, every bill I have, and that's okay because it's a stepping stone job. It's not meant to be stay here for the rest of your life job, you know. It's meant to be go out and go from here job. But for whatever reason, people think, well, no, I'm a barista, I need to be making, and I was a barista before. And, you know, every job is hard in its own way. Let's just get that out of the way real quick. A lot of people will say, well, they work hard. Well, so does a lot of people. So does a flagger, you know. So does the McDonald's person. So does everybody. Everybody works hard, but, you know, not everything is a union job, you know. What unions are doing is they're turning a union gig, which used to be what, like, you aspired to. You know, you'd get that McDonald's gig when you're a kid and you'd be like, this sucks, I want something better. Well, go learn a trade and get in the union. And that used to be something to aspire to. And now it's just like, well, I'm a union McDonald's worker? Like, come on. I was in the union in one of my jobs I had when I got back from North Dakota, which was a service industry job at an old folks home. And some of those union people are the laziest bastards you'll ever meet. And it's the union that made them lazy. I ain't doing that. It's not in my contract. It's like, you're not going to pick that piece of trash up because it's not in your fucking contract? Like, you lazy bastard. Like, I'm sorry. But it was all union mentality. And then when it came down to it, they couldn't help you from your job shutting down or from whatever. They couldn't help. They didn't help. They didn't help anybody, you know, when they did have power. And now they're just a dying thing that's looking for money. Which is why they're going to freaking baristas and McDonald's workers and stuff and trying to convince them that you're worth a lot more money and you should strike. And then they strike, and what happens? Every time, what happens? The owners just go, well, fuck it, we're going to close it down then. And they don't care how it looks for them. They'll say it's not worth it anymore. They'll say, man, it's not worth it. This is, you know, we're taking a loss here doing all this stuff. So people got to be careful about that union stuff, man. Because it really can, you know, it really can come back and bite you in the ass. Same with the writing guild and the union in you know, California. You know, a lot of people didn't give a damn about that, and there's a reason. Because they didn't think the shows that they were making were worth a shit. So it's like, when the shows you're making aren't even good, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's, not just me, when your shows suck, and people don't like them, and they're flopping right and left, like, you're really gonna go on a strike right now? because you're afraid of AI taking your work. Well, I hear you. I mean, obviously, I'm an artist. I don't want AI just waltzing in here and doing stuff. But at the same time, if I just drew, you know, crap that nobody wanted to see, I don't know. I wouldn't expect that I'd be immune from change. And that's what AI is. At this point, it is change. Well, everybody, we got our first chunk here of the illustration. So we're going to take a little break. I got to go to the bathroom, get something to drink. I want to check on my dying child. So I'll be back in a moment.